Hi and welcome back to Rad Riders. Motor camping is upon us. The season is June, where people are getting out to festivals, going out on the bikes, doing motor camping, just doing camping, getting out there and exploring places. It's really the best time of the year to do that. So what do you take with you? There's lots of different variations and people saying what they would recommend and what you should take. For somebody that has done this, and I've done this on big bikes, 1000cc adventure bikes. I've also done it on 90cc Honda Cub, and I've gone long distances and covered 3,000 miles camping 8-day trips. What you take with you is the basic needs and necessities that you need for that journey. Now, your first trip, like mine, which was about 8 years ago, I took everything in the kitchen sink. It was a 955 Tiger. I packed it up, every pannier, every top box. There was no room for me on the bike. And I strapped everything, including a 30-piece socket set, which I never ever used. I also took gas bottles, gas stoves, pots, pans, noodles, which I never ever used. You learn by that mistake. You learn that you don't need, for a 7-day trip or a 3-day trip or a 5-day trip, 5 pairs of socks, 5 pair of underwears. You ride in your gear, so when you're in your gear, that's the gear that you're going to be riding in every single day. That's the gear that you will take off wet or dry, and that's the gear you will put back on the day after. We don't have the luxury of drying rooms and drying things out unless you're staying at some posh hotel, then you wouldn't be camping anyway. The basics is what you need, and don't overload it. Don't overthink it and don't overload it. So I'll start with the first thing. The first thing that I take is my tent. There's smaller tents than this, but I'm 6'2" and 16 stone, and when my gear's with me, that's the room of a 2-man tent. This is a Vango Banshee 300. Now there is a 200, but I found that I couldn't sit up in it to get changed. It will work for most people, but for me, I couldn't get dressed and undressed inside that tent. So this was the smallest tent that gave me a little bit of room, but didn't take up too much space. It packs down really nice and neat, and it pitches very quickly with 2 poles. It's a Vango, it's a very, very well made tent, and I've took this many places with me. I have also been camping with a 16-pound Argos tent. That's worked very, very well, but mild weather. This will do you okay. So that's the first thing that you need to take with you. The second thing, people think, oh, it's a sleeping bag. For me, it's your mat, and a good quality mat is very, very important, because it's not the comfort. And initially when you're buying a sleeping mat, you're thinking to yourself, I need to have something quite thick and comfortable, but it's the cold that comes in from the ground that gets you, and they all have what they call an R rating, and this is basically how much heat your body loses through your mat. You've got to stop that. You can be in the best sleeping bag in the world, but if you're losing body heat through your mat, then it doesn't matter how thick it is. So get yourself a good mat. There are thinner ones than this. This is a Berghaus. It packs down quite tight, quite compact, but that's my next thing that I take with me. The next thing is a sleeping bag. You can get some really good down sleeping bags that compact really tight, but what I've found is if you get something which is too big, like a 4-season sleeping bag, and you're in summer, you're too hot, you can't get in it anyway. So what I do is I get a season 2, and then I may take a liner if I need it, or I'll put my cold clothes over me, I throw my jacket over me. So you don't need something huge like this season 4, because I've got to carry that round with me. Season 2 will do me, and it'll fit within my pack. The next thing a lot of people take with them is too many clothes. And I've done it myself. I've took fleeces, hoodies, padded gilets. I've been going away for 4 days, so I think 4 t-shirts, 4 pair of socks, 4 pair of undies, a hoodie, blah, 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 blah. What you realise, you only need 2 kit, your riding kit and your evening kit. I take with me, simple, the pair of socks that I'm wearing, which is sealskin, that I'm riding in, and then I take a pair of comfortable socks for the evening. 1 pair of socks. The undergarments that I'm wearing, I take them with me, and then one for the evening or for my sleeping bag. Now this is regardless of whether you're going for 1 night, 2 nights, 3 nights, 4 nights. If you're getting above 5 nights, then you might want to take an extra pair. But you can always buy these. You can buy a pack of 10 socks from Tesco or Asda, wherever you shop, for a tenner. If you need extra underwear, you can pick them up for nothing. You're never too far from a shop where you can get stuff. But what I'm saying is, when you're going out, just take the basics, what you need. You can always add to it, and you can always throw it away. A t-shirt, which is high wicking, packs really compact, very small. If it gets soaking wet, it's dry pretty quickly. A pair of lightweight walking trousers, again, if they get wet, they dry very quickly. They're compact. These are Carrymore. They're about £40. They're stretchable, they're comfortable, and they're ideal for around the campsite. If it gets cold at night, just get a lightweight fleece. They're warm, especially when you layer up with a t-shirt. If you're still cold, put your jacket on, your riding jacket. But again, if these get cold and wet, they dry pretty quickly. You hang them outside and they're dry within a couple of hours. That's all the clothing that you need. People also think they need to wash and be clean, and you do. But you take a great big bulky towel that once you've dried yourself on it, that stays wet for the rest of your trip. And it's heavy and it takes up a lot of space. If you do need, you can get a micro fleece, a micro towel cloth that's a large, and that compacts down really tight. Your wash gear is here. Shampoos, toothbrush, soap, mosquito repellent, everything else. I don't bother with it, and I don't bother with that either. 1 pack of baby wipes. That would last me a month. If I need to have a quick wash, a freshen up, wash my hands, pack of baby wipes, you throw them away. They're disposable, they're environmentally friendly, and they smell nice. And they take up the less room than that pack. Now I've got my basics, what do I put them all in? Most of the time, if I'm traveling light with the stuff that I've just shown you, I put everything inside one of these. They use them for outdoor pursuits, canoeing, completely waterproof. You put your gear in there, you roll it up, and you clip it to either side, and it keeps everything dry. I keep my tent separate because my tent does get wet and it stays wet. So all my clothes, my dry clothes, will stay in there and my tent will sit on top. But it takes up pretty much, that's it. That's the space that it takes up, not much more than that. That's if you're on a small bike. Now I've done that on a Cub 90 and I've been all the way around Wales and I've spent 5-6 days with just the basic stuff that you see. You can always find a Costa, you can always find a petrol station, you can always find a chip shop. So there's no need to take food with you. I would say save that space for a small first aid kit, your medication if you need it, and of course some chocolate bars, some energy drinks in case you get fatigued. That's important to keep your blood sugar levels up and open. The rest of the time you can just munch on that if you've skipped a meal. But they take up very little room. And the other thing is water. I always carry 2 litres of water wherever I go. If I'm going somewhere and I've got a bigger bike, then I will take a little bit more extras with me. So what extras would I take if I was going on a bigger bike and I had more room and more places to strap it? Well, luxury items. A camping pillow. Now, most of the time I roll my jeans up or my jacket up and I use that as a pillow. But if you want a good night's sleep, there's nothing like a nice comfy pillow. So that would be the next thing that I took with me. Liner for the sleeping bag. They don't take up much space. I don't really need it. I can wash my sleeping bag when I come back. But if I had a bit of luxury, I'd take that with me. And the difference that makes to the warmth of an evening as well. Another luxury item would be the micro towel. You know, because sometimes On campsite, you will go and have a shower, and it's just nice to pat yourself dry, hang it up inside your tent, and it keeps you nice and clean and dry. The other thing, which is a luxury item, is a light and a mosquito. Now, most tents have got mosquito nets built into them, but this one is rechargeable. It's got a light on it, so you can see in the dark. And it's also, if you can see that, lights up blue. I don't know whether you can see that. And catches the little moggies. Another luxury item is a tarp. Even if you don't want to set your tent up and you want to get a shelter really, really quickly, these are fantastic. I mean, that's a 10 by 10, but that will fold half that size. And that will make a massive difference to giving you a shelter or an extra awning if it's really, really sunny and bright. It gives you that extra space. My favourite luxury item is my cooking kit. Now, use whatever brand that you like, but this one was a no branded off Amazon. It cost a fraction of what some of the larger make models do. And I've had this for about 5 years now, and this has never let me down. And I've got people with that larger brand side by side, and it's seconds from boiling compared to the other one. Everything packs down quite neat. Silicone lid, tripod to keep it sturdy, your burner and your gas. And pretty much everything stacks together, and you can boil water, boil your food in there, cook in that, make a brew in the morning. It's a luxury item, but as you see, it takes up some space. So if you ain't got the space, don't take it with you. But it's probably one of the things that I would take with me, and I'd forgive something like a liner or a pillow or a tarp and take that. And then the other one, which I normally sit on my helmet, but if you don't want to sit on your helmet, then get yourself one of these fold-away chairs. Again, there's really expensive models, £100. And then there's these, which cost a fraction of that. And as I say, I'm 6'2" and 16 stone, and I've had this particular model for about 5 years now, and it has never given in. It has never let me down. And then you get the gist. You put that over. So if you've got more stuff, then you're going to need a bigger bag. My go-to bag, which I use all of the time for all of my camping trips now, is this Oxford Aqua 50 roll bag. Now, it looks pretty big when it's out, but this rolls really, really down. So if you've got the minimal stuff in there, it's only taking that much space. If you've got the maximum, then you're going to fill it to the maximum. But it's waterproof and it's easy access because you access it from the top. I found this the perfect travel companion. And that's my go-to bag. Plus, you can take it off and carry it with you in your tent. Everything's in together in one go. Another tent, and I'm going to finish on this, is if you've got the time, the luxury, this is a cracking tent, but it's big. It's the Slummit Cub 2. It's a 2-man tent. If you're going out in weathers that ain't great, you can pitch this in seconds. It's one of these tents where I'll leave a link in the description. Now, we'll do a review on this, but I've taken this with me, and if I need to unpack a tent quickly and get up and get in and get into some shelter, I know it's bigger than if I compare it next to my Van Gogh, but that'll take me 15 minutes to put up. That'll take me seconds to put up. It's a nice luxury to have if you've got space, or you can make space to take it, because it's very sturdy. I've had this in 40 mile an hour winds and rain, and it's stood up. It's a cracking tent, but it's big. If I was going to be on a small bike, I wouldn't take that. But if you can, do. So, That's what I take with me. I hope you found this useful. I hope you found parts of it useful. I hope you found all of it useful. What do you take? You know, is there anything I've missed out? Is there anything you would change? This is just for me, and it works very, very well based on people that I've learned from over the last 15 years of motor camping. I've learned all this stuff from people like you, and passed this over, and I hope this has been useful. If it has, please give it a like. Please give me some comments. I always answer every one of my comments, and subscribe to my channel. It's completely free to subscribe, and it really helps me grow this channel. So if you like content like this, please give me a subscribe. Thanks for watching Rad Riders. I'm Mike Lyon, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.